Hey, this is Seth Jarrett, and in this video, I'm going to explain to you why college earning statistics are statistically, scientifically, empirically wrong. They are inaccurate, they are misleading, and they are one of the worst propaganda tools used by colleges to pressure young people into going to college. Now, if you're a young person, you're in high school and you're sitting there and you're thinking, what do I do with my future? God, I gotta get that college degree. I need it. If I don't have that degree, I'm nothing. I'm worse than nothing. I'm worse than Hitler. I should just go crawl into a hole and die. If you tell your parents or your friends, I'm not gonna go to college, I'm gonna go skip college and get a jump start on my future, they're gonna go, oh my God, how could you skip college? You're gonna be throwing your life away. And this is a mass hysteria. You know, people relate to college and the degree more like a religion than a product that costs a shitload of money. People even say, I quote, believe in education. You shouldn't have to believe in it. It either works or it doesn't, and currently it is not. So instead of looking at blind belief, let's talk about some numbers. Now, this is a graph put together by the United States Census Bureau that appears to demonstrate the value of a college degree. So the more degrees you get, the more money you're going to make, right? No, this is not what we would call a scientifically or statistically accurate graph. And I'm going to show you why. Let's look at another graph, which is going to chart the number of people who drowned by falling into a pool correlated with films Nicolas Cage appeared in. Now, if you look at these two data sets, it's going to appear that whenever Nicolas Cage makes a movie, people start drowning by falling into swimming pools. Similarly, you could also correlate per capita cheese consumption with the number of people who died by becoming entangled in their bed sheets. Look at these data sets. They look like they are pretty correlated. Guess what? It's not true. That's why this is a humor website. The data used to create this graph is just as statistically unsound as the data used to make these funny graphs over here. Okay, this data is not scientifically accurate. It is misleading with no control or variable group. Everyone was just thrown together in one pot. For example, naturally, the people who dropped out of high school aren't going to make as much as people who have the determination to go on and finish high school or get a degree. This is a reflection of the character of people who happen to earn these achievements. It doesn't prove that the degree leads to higher earnings. In order to scientifically and accurately prove the value of something, like let's say a new nutritional bar or the way that they test drugs in drug studies, they do a randomized double-blind placebo test study, and they do it by comparing similar groups. See, if you look at, this is a scientific study from, it looks like Harvard Medical School, right? Now, you'll notice that everybody they need has to be the same. They all have to be healthy, non-smokers, not on any medication, between the ages of 18 to 35. So everybody in the study has to be almost the same as far as their health habits and their age and the fact that they don't smoke. But what happens with these statistics about a college degree, it's kind of like you had to study for our nutrition bar and you put an overweight, out of shape person and an in shape person in the same study. They shouldn't statistically be in the same study. It screws it up. So the out of shape person in this case, let's say they're going to choose to eat fries and cookies and pizza and junk food, and the person who's in shape is going to choose the power bar. Now the in shape person is going to outperform the out of shape person, obviously. But is that because of the fucking power bar? No. Did the power bar make this person a great athlete? No. That's called selection bias, and it's not accounted for in any of these data about college earnings. A proper study would have two in-shape people given different foods, and now you can see if the food makes the difference. So when the more driven, smarter person happens to choose college because they have a higher aptitude and they're biased to college, are his eventual statistically higher earnings because of college? No! This type of person is clearly inclined to higher earnings in the long term.
And more importantly, many successful college kids would have been successful whether they went to college or not.
You could take the pool of college-bound students and you could lock them in a closet for 4 years and they're going to earn more money.
Because those are the kids who already tend to be harder working, more persistent,
and smarter.
In a culture where everyone is pressured to go to college, 70% of students do go to college. Do earning stats reflect the value of the degree, or how unexceptional the 30% who don't go are. I don't mean to rag on the 30%. It's the culture we grow up in. Now look at the parents. A parent who's really biased towards college. He hasn't examined current job marketing statistics. Beliefs about college are based on experience they had in the 70s and the 80s. Parents cry if their kid doesn't go to college, thinking, oh, my son's a loser, he's going to end up in a dumpster. Now, the person with the higher aptitude, if they go on and skip college, which is not the norm these days, because everybody's told they have to go to college. If they skip college, parents think that their kid is suddenly going to become unexceptional without any aptitude. Parents and teachers continue to perpetuate this fantasy that college leads to a life of luxury. And the biggest fear that parents have remains that if their kid doesn't go to college and get that degree, then every single employer is going to say, go fuck yourself if you don't have a degree. That's the fear, that they'll never get a job. When in reality, 6 out of 10 employers don't give a shit if you have a degree. That's research conducted of actual hiring managers. People that actually hire people said, we don't care about the degree. If it were true that you absolutely need a degree to get hired, then these numbers would all be 100%. To work in management, office and administrative services, business, computer, sales, architecture, healthcare. This number, which is percent of job holders with a BA and percent of postings requiring a bachelor's degree, would be 100%. Every job requires a bachelor's degree, and people are only hired if they have a bachelor's degree. That's it. You have to get it. There's no discussion. Invest the money, get the degree. That's not true, though. Look at the real numbers. Not 100% at all. Even in management, the highest one, 68% of the postings say that you need a bachelor's degree. In reality, only 42% of people working in the field have a degree. How is that possible if the degree is required for success? So instead of comparing apples and oranges, which is statistically biased, the person biased to college versus the person who's biased against college, you compare two college-ready, driven, intelligent people, and you send one of them to college, and the other one skips college. Or for a real study, take 1,000 college-ready people and send 500 to college and have 500 skip college. This has never, ever, ever been done. Ever. Now, in 4 years, do you think that the one who skipped college is going to be pouring cement just because he didn't get a degree in art history? No! You think employers are going to say, I don't care that you're smart and a hard worker. You are less than garbage because you do not have a college degree. You didn't study the early works of Milton. You have shamed your family. Leave my sight on your knees, peasant. That's not what happens. If you skip college, you actually get a 4-year head start on your peers. You can travel, build your resume, network, get skills online, avoid crippling debt. You can still read, make friends, get drunk, get laid. You join the workforce sooner. You begin acquiring experience. Now, when people think of high school graduates, this is what they think of. They think of high school only grads who are more inclined towards like labor jobs with low aptitude and not as sophisticated or as driven. Again, I don't mean to judge these people, it's just how it is. But when a gifted high school grad skips college, they demonstrate drive to employers. They aren't suddenly forced into low-paying manual jobs just because they didn't get a philosophy degree. On the flip side, because everybody's now pressured to go to college, people who really shouldn't go are going, and then they come out working at jobs that don't require a degree. So the person who thinks the degree is going to give them an advantage still ends up working in a job that doesn't require a degree. So it's called underemployment. And you can see underemployment amongst college graduates is at about 45%. Almost half of people that can find work are working jobs that have nothing to do with anything academic. This isn't a completely new phenomenon. You can see back in 1990 it was also very high. But what you can see is that the number of non-college jobs keeps going up and up and up. Even as the cost of college goes up, the pressure to college goes up. It's not like the number of college-related jobs is going up as well. You can see here by major, the chances of underemployment is 44.6% overall, but by major, it varies. Criminal justice, performing arts, leisure and hospitality, even business management, fine arts, and history are all well over the average. 50-60% chance of working at a job that has nothing to do with what you studied in school. And this is why you have situations like this.
Did you go to college?
Yeah,
When did you graduate?
2006.
What was your major?
History, English.
And now you're driving a bike?
Yep,
What was your major?
it was robotics.
When did you graduate?
I graduated in 2003.
And what are you doing now?
I'm working for a strip club.
Did you happen to go to college?
Yeah.
What did you major in?
Business. Communications.
Radiology.
Graphic design.
Business management.
Psychology.
Science.
Did you go to college?
Yes.
And what did you major in?
Business administration. General studies.
Economics. What did you major in?
Business.
Criminal justice. Culinary.
Asian studies.
So take a breath, look at the facts, look at the statistics, look at the numbers, and look at this like the biggest purchase you're ever going to make in your young life. This is as big as buying a house. So before you buy the house, don't you want to check out the neighborhood and the plumbing and everything like that? Do a real thorough inspection. Don't just buy the house because all your friends are buying houses or because your teacher say you should buy a house. I'll just buy the first house that I see or the first house that accepts my offer. No, this is a big investment. It's very serious. Don't take it lightly. Look at the statistics. Take a deep breath. And remember, you don't need a degree to be a worthwhile human being who has an amazing life and freedom and is financially successful. And in future videos, I'm going to show you examples of people who don't have a degree or people like myself who do have a degree and are speaking out and telling young people it's a waste of time and money that you don't need to be a happy person. So I hope this has been helpful. This is Seth Jared. I'll next time I feel like I want to scream and yell into the internet, I will record another one of these videos. Thank you.